Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, February 25th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I allow the light to penetrate the density. And I want to go so many places in this astro. We are finishing up Moon in Scorpio, which is definitely adding to the density. It's like, you know, Pisces takes us underwater already, and Scorpio is like 20,000 leagues under the sea. And you're facing the octopus and the sea monsters and all that energy, all the fears that may come up. But what I want to mention is something that's going on in the background. And I've been hearing for so many people, like, the density, it feels so tough. I think this has a lot to do with Saturn and Pluto approaching. So, true life story. I had Saturn go over my Pluto in about 2010. And it was when I was jumping off and trying to really start my business in regards to doing a lot of hands-on healing and energy work. You know, that's when Spirit pushed me off the ledge. And I went through these phases of what felt like such a deep depression, which is not my usual state, and it didn't feel like it was depression as in I needed to go get help. It just felt like this heaviness, this blah, and I really didn't feel like I could get out of bed. Unfortunately, I knew Astro, and I was like, oh, this must be Saturn going over my Pluto. And the first time it happened, I fought it and I couldn't get out of bed for several weeks. And the next time I fought it for like a minute and I spent like a week in bed. And then the third time I was like, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to allow the density. I'm going to allow myself to feel heavy and not want to move. And it passed rather quickly. And I feel like all of us are beginning to experience the density of Pluto approaching Saturn. So we have Pluto at 22 degrees, master level degree. It's actually 22 minutes right now. So 2222, hope and faith. Keep that in mind. And we have Saturn at 17 degrees. So there's a thing in astrology called being within an orb. And various astrologers look at orbs to different degrees. Some people look, if it's within 10 degrees, you're going to feel it. Some people are more like 5. And in general, I'm somewhere between 5 and on it, where I think you can feel it. But I just want to say, for anybody who may be feeling the heaviness, who may be feeling the density, who may be feeling the blah, which I've been feeling a lot of the blah. I feel the kind of heaviness that it brings. You're not alone in it. This will pass. This is something that we are definitely going to be working through. It'll probably feel actually a little bit better when Saturn retrogrades because that pressure will be off. But if you are feeling that density, look especially where Saturn and Pluto are working in your chart. You can always book a reading for that. To see where maybe you need to reach for the light to help break through the density. And it's funny because I really have that in the cards, and I've said that with Jupiter and Sagittarius, we do want to reach for the light. It is of the utmost importance in order to break through the veils, to break through the stuff that's coming up. As Saturn and Pluto come together, major upheaval is coming up in our lives, in the structure of things. And so we really do need to reach for the light and provide ourselves understanding as we work for and with these energies. So just if you're feeling that, in addition to some of the other astro things, that's something that we're building into. And we'll dig into that more as they come closer and closer together, but that's your heads up right there. Okay, so this astro in particular today, finishing up Moon in Scorpio. Now, as that finishes, the density may still feel 20,000 leagues under the sea. Provide understanding for yourself with that. There's really strong intuition, but we then have the Moon shifting into Sagittarius. And what I wrote is, reach for it. Keep reaching for the light. That is why we have Jupiter in Sagittarius this year, at this time, to remind us to reach for the light. I also love that we currently have Ceres in Sagittarius. Ceres is the mother energy, how we need to mother ourselves, provide understanding, be like, I know this is hard, and yet listen to the birds chirping, or in our case, listen to the frogs chirping. The frogs go crazy here. What is the light that you can reach for at this time in these energies. I also always suggest using light therapy candles, you know, essential oils, flower essences to support you, crystals, obviously, to support you in feeling better. Community, all of these things can help with the density. All of these things are part of reaching for the light. And sometimes the light you need to reach for is your presence, being present with where you are and bringing the light to where you are, even if the light is, I love you and we're going to make it through this energy. So be aware of that. Before the moon shifts into Sagittarius, though, we have that finishing up of Scorpio. As the moon connects to Scorpio or finishes up in Scorpio, it's going to connect to Mercury in Pisces. Oh my gosh, my dreams have been so interesting and had so many messages. Now, Mercury is preparing to go retrograde very soon. We are in the shadow, so we're getting our first pass of these lessons, and it's been such a psychic time. Be aware that you may be getting dream messages. Oh, hello, Mahalo. Dream messages, you just came scampering in here. Dream messages, messages in meditation, or even taking time to daydream to allow the messages to come in if you cannot connect to dream time. That's another way to open yourself up to the messages, because I feel like there's some revelations for you, again, to help you bring understanding and reach for the light at this time. The moon will also connect to Venus. Venus energy in, where is Venus right now? Capricorn, also hanging out in Capricorn. How are you showing up for yourself? Again, back to these cards. How are you showing up for yourself? Providing understanding wherever you are at this time. I think that's one of the most necessary things. Can you hold space for what your needs are at this time, what you need to survive at this time? There may be a part of you that wants to push and be like, well, this is how I need to show up in society because this is what society tells me, and your needs say something different. Can you show up for your basic needs, for those root chakra energies? Okay, like I said, moon will then shift into Sagittarius. Phew. That's a relief. The shift will happen at 1:19 p.m. Pacific time, and as soon as the moon shifts, it will be connecting to Chiron. Now, a word to my patrons. I just did a video right before that, of the physical things that could come up during this time of Chiron and Aries. So if you are a patron member, go check that out. If you would like to be a patron member, come join us. We are always happy to have you with us. As the moon connects to Chiron, be aware of any emotional energies that come up that need you to bring the light, that need you to show up for them. Chiron in Aries is unveiling our soul. It is basically a form of apocalypse, because apocalypse is the unveiling. So we're going through soul apocalypse, unveiling these parts of ourselves. Sagittarius is higher learning. What is the higher lesson in anything that comes up for you? Chiron at 0 degrees is still at that transformational degree, and it's part of us nurturing ourselves that we show up for ourselves on that level. So that is it for this Astro today. Again, if you're feeling the heaviness, I'm right there with you. It's okay. It will pass. And sometimes you just need to let it sit. And I really did learn that lesson. And it's one that I will bring to you over and over and over again. So come join me on Patreon. The link is below the video if you'd like to join. Besides that, you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. The better it gets, the better it gets. There is enough love in the world for you, and you have the power. Namaste.